sky me, where brains go to broadcast.
Have you ever tried to follow a story told by someone who just jumps all over the place? They're maybe too brief here, then way too detailed there, maybe even tell you the ending first. By the time they're done, you're just left scratching your head with more questions than answers. It's very frustrating, isn't it? And, it's a common trap, not just in stories, but really in all sorts of communication, whether you're, say, writing a report or maybe an important email or even just trying to convince your friends about something. Without that clear central point, the whole message can become, well, a disorganized mess. All that work and your great ideas just kind of vanish.
That's so true, and that is exactly where the thesis statement comes in. You can think of it like a signpost, maybe, or a North Star for your entire piece of communication. It's usually this single, really powerful sentence. It tells the reader the main point you want to make and what the whole discussion is going to support. And crucially, it's not just the topic. It's the writer's interpretation of that topic, your specific take.
Yeah. Well, that's a helpful way to put it. So today, we're going to really break down what makes a strong, clear thesis statement. We'll look at how to spot a weak one, and most importantly, how to craft and sharpen your own so your ideas really land with impact. This is such a core skill, useful way beyond just school papers, right?
Absolutely. It applies everywhere.
Okay, let's unpack this then. You said it's not just the topic itself. So what exactly are the essential elements? What's the secret sauce?
Right. That's a really key distinction. So you might start with a general topic or maybe a question you have, but a thesis needs you to form a specific opinion about it. You need to articulate what we call a controlling idea. That's the core claim, the main assertion you're going to build everything else on. It basically answers, okay, for this subject, what exactly do I want my audience to get? And structurally, it's usually just one sentence. Concise. You'll often find it right near the end of the introduction. That placement is pretty strategic. It acts like a little roadmap, tells the reader where you're heading. A good one is also super specific. It focuses on maybe 1, 2, or 3 key points of a single idea, points that you can actually demonstrate and back up. It sort of forecasts what's coming and hints at how you've organized your thoughts. And like you hinted at before, it dissects the issue. It doesn't just summarize it. It's analytical. You're taking a stance.
I really like that dissecting, not summarizing. That immediately tells you it's about digging deeper, analytically. So if we want our message to be really clear, really convincing, what qualities should our thesis statement absolutely have? What makes it truly powerful?
Okay, yeah. There are about 6 qualities that really make a thesis strong. They kind of build on each other. First is specificity. It has to focus on a specific angle of a broader topic. So like healthcare is huge, right?
Right.
Way too broad. But something like options for individuals without healthcare coverage, now that's getting specific.
Okay, narrowing it down. Makes sense.
Then second, building on that is precision. It has to make an exact claim about that specific topic. So following the healthcare example, you wouldn't just say healthcare options are limited. That's still a bit vague. A precise statement might be something like, limited healthcare options exist for individuals uninsured by their employers, primarily due to lack of government subsidies. See? It pinpoints who, what, and maybe even why.
Ah, okay. So specific topic and then a very exact claim about that topic. Got it.
Exactly. Third, it needs the ability to be argued. This is crucial. A thesis isn't just a fact everyone already agrees on, like computers use electricity.
No.
Well, yeah, no argument there. It has to present a viewpoint that someone could reasonably disagree with, something you need to actually support. It has to be debatable.
So something with actual stakes involved.
Precisely. Which leads right into the fourth quality, the ability to be demonstrated. You made a claim, now you got to back it up.
Right.
You need reasons, examples, maybe data, observations, whatever supports your specific point. A strong argument needs proof.
Right. You can't just state it. You have to show it.
You got it. Fifth is forcefulness. The tone should be assertive. It needs to sound like you're taking a clear stance, making a definite argument, maybe one that others might even challenge. It's a confident declaration, not a hesitant suggestion.
Okay. Assertive, not wishy-washy.
Yeah, exactly. And that ties into the sixth point. Confidence. This means avoiding those phrases like I think or I feel or I believe. Now, you obviously do think or believe it, but putting those phrases in actually weakens your argument. It makes it sound like just your personal feeling rather than a conclusion you've reached through analysis. When you say I believe X, the reader can just think, well, I don't. And then it becomes about opinions, not evidence. A strong thesis presents the claim as something demonstrable. The confidence comes from the argument itself.
That's such a great point about "I believe." It subtly shifts the ground. So it's about authoritative confidence, not just stating a personal feeling. That makes me think, though, what's the most common slip-up you see when people trying to be confident but maybe end up sounding, I don't know, arrogant or just dismissive?
Oh, that's a really good question. Yeah, there's definitely a line there. I think the most common mistake is overcompensating for perceived lack of authority by adding those "I think" phrases, ironically. People sometimes worry a direct statement sounds too bold, or maybe it'll turn off people who disagree. But the thing is, the whole essay or report is your argument, your analysis. It's implicitly your take. You don't need to constantly flag it. True confidence comes from the clarity of the argument and the strength of the evidence you present, not from saying, "This is just my little opinion." Let the argument itself be confident.
That clears it up nicely. Let the work speak for itself. Okay, so we've got a good picture of a strong thesis, but sometimes learning what not to do is just as helpful. What are some common traps? Those thesis statements that look okay at first, but just fall flat.
Absolutely. Spotting the weak ones is key. There are generally four main types you want to avoid. First is when it's simply a declaration of the subject. It just announces the topic, doesn't make an argument. Like saying, "My paper will explain why imagination is more important than knowledge." Okay. It tells us what you're doing, but not what your actual point or argument is. What is your conclusion about imagination?
So it's like announcing the journey, but not the destination.
Exactly. The second pitfall is making an unreasonable, outrageous, or maybe even insulting claim. This kind just pushes people away or shows you're not really engaging seriously. An example might be religious radicals across America are trying to legislate their puritanical beliefs by banning required high school books. Now, while there might be debates about book bans, phrasing it like that is inflammatory. It shuts down nuanced discussion. It's more of an attack than an argument.
Yeah, you can feel the heat coming off that one. It definitely doesn't invite a calm discussion or analysis. It's funny how some of these seem strong on the surface, maybe forceful, but they don't actually lead anywhere productive.
You nailed it. And that brings us to the third type of weak thesis, when it contains an obvious fact or something nobody could disagree with. We sometimes call this a dead end. If you say, advertising companies use sex to sell their products, well, yes, most people know that. What's your point? There's nothing to argue, nothing to explore. It's just a known fact. Where's the analysis? Where's your insight?
Right. It just states the obvious no so what factor.
Exactly. And the fourth main weakness is when a thesis is too broad. It just lacks focus.
Yeah.
You can't possibly cover it properly in, say, one essay or presentation. If your thesis is, the life of Abraham Lincoln was long and challenging. I mean, sure it was, but that's a topic for a whole biography, maybe multiple volumes. What specific aspect of his challenging life are you going to analyze? It's just too huge.
Okay, those four really highlight the pitfalls. The announcement, the outrageous claim, the dead-end fact, and the ocean-sized topic. It makes sense why those wouldn't work. But let's be real, even experienced writers don't always nail the thesis first try, right? So say you have a draft, a working thesis, but it feels a bit shaky. Maybe it falls into one of those traps. How do you actually go about strengthening it? How do you polish it up?
Oh, absolutely. Revision is not just normal, it's essential. It's very rare to get it perfect on the first go. That first attempt is often what we call a working thesis. It's like a placeholder, something to guide your initial research or thinking. As you learn more, gather evidence, figure out your actual argument, that thesis should change. It should get sharper, more focused. The best way to revise is really to ask yourself tough questions. Challenge your own assumptions. Ask why, ask how, ask so what. Push yourself for more clarity and precision.
That's good to hear that it's okay for it to evolve. Take some pressure off. So besides just asking questions, are there specific techniques, like concrete steps we can take to refine a thesis that feels a bit, Can we walk through maybe transforming one?
Definitely. Let's try that. We can take a fairly common kind of weak working thesis and apply 4 practical revision steps. Let's start with this working thesis. Young people have to work hard to succeed in life. It's okay, but it's vague, right? Young people. Work hard, succeed, life. Very broad.
Yeah, super broad. Okay, so what's step 1?
Step 1. Pinpoint and replace non-specific words. We need to swap out vague terms like people, everything, society, life, succeed with much more precise language. Who are these young people? Maybe recent college graduates. What does succeed in life mean in this context? Perhaps find and maintain a stable job. So after step 1, maybe it becomes recent college graduates have to work hard to find and maintain a stable job. Better, but still needs work.
Okay. More specific already. What's next?
Step 2. Clarify ideas that need explanation. Work hard is still vague. How should they work hard? What qualities are needed? Let's ask those 5WH questions: who, what, when, where, why, how. Maybe working hard involves discipline and persistence. And what kind of job? Maybe one in which they can use and be appreciated for their talents. So after step 2, it might look like recent college graduates must have discipline and persistence in order to find and maintain a stable job in which they can use and be appreciated for their talents.
Getting much clearer now. I can see the argument taking shape.
Good. Step 3. Replace linking verbs with action verbs. Linking verbs like forms of to be, is, are, was, were, or verbs like have can sometimes make statements feel a bit passive. We want more punch. Our current version uses must have. It's okay, but maybe we can make it more active. What does having discipline allow them to do? Maybe it enables them or requires them. Let's rephrase. How about after step 3? Finding and maintaining a stable job where their talents are used and appreciated requires recent college graduates to demonstrate discipline and persistence. Feels a bit stronger, more direct.
Yeah, requires definitely has more punch than must have. Okay, last step.
Right, step 4. Omit any general claims that are hard to support or narrow the scope. Is the claim still too broad? Is discipline and persistence universally true for all graduates in all fields? Maybe we can refine the context or the outcome. Let's think. Maybe the challenge is specific to the current job market. Let's refine. Maybe our final, stronger thesis is: to secure and thrive in a stable career aligned with their talents, recent college graduates in today's competitive market must actively demonstrate not only discipline, but also adaptability and persistent networking. See how that adds more nuance, adaptability, networking, the current market? It's specific, arguable, demonstrable, forceful, and confident.
Wow, okay. Seeing that transformation step by step really shows the power of revision. From work hard to succeed to that very specific and arguable point.
Exactly. So just to quickly wrap up the key ideas, a thesis statement is your specific interpretation, your argument about a topic. A strong one needs to be specific, precise, arguable, demonstrable, forceful, and confident. And you really want to avoid just announcing the topic, making wild claims, stating the obvious, or being way too broad. And crucially, remember that revision is your friend. It's how you take a basic idea and hone it into something really impactful.
That was incredibly helpful, seriously. Especially seeing the revision in action. And thinking about what this means for everyone listening. These principles aren't just for writing essays, are they? I mean, think about an email to your boss asking for a raise, or maybe pitching a new project idea. Having that sharp thesis statement right up front. Here's what I propose, here's why it's needed, and here are the benefits.
That clarity makes all the difference, doesn't it? It gets right to the core.
Absolutely. It cuts through the clutter in any communication. So here's something to think about. Next time you hear someone give an opinion, or you read an article, or even just when you're forming your own thoughts on something important, pause for a second. Ask yourself, what's the underlying thesis here? Is it specific? Is it arguable? Does it hold up? And maybe more importantly, how could you make your own communication even stronger, more persuasive, by consciously crafting a clearer, more powerful thesis statement from the start? Being able to nail your core argument, that really is a communication superpower, and hopefully now you feel better equipped to use it.
Past guide me where brains go